So, hello and welcome to my final presentation concluding the UX Fundamentals course within the UX Design course that I'm taking with CareerFoundry. I am really excited to showcase my project to you. So, my name is Julia Prantl and my app is called Syrenka, which is the long version of Siri, who you should all know. And it's also the name of the protector of Warsaw. She's a mermaid. Warsaw is the capital of Poland, for all of you guys who don't know that. So there are several legends about her, but what I really like about her and the reason why I chose her name is the notion that she's a strong, independent woman who is protecting and leading others, and that's why she's the brand archetype for my vocabulary learning app. But before we dive into that, I would like to present my key user persona to you. So this is David. He's a 42-year-old expat living in Munich because his wife is from there. She is Swabian German, and he wears quite a lot of hats, as you can see on this slide, as he needs to adapt to his environment based on his different identities that he carries, which obviously also includes language. So he is an ex-US Marine soldier. He also played college football in Carolina. He now works as a freelancing fitness coach and gives fitness classes at close-by gyms. He complements this job as a fitness coach and as an entrepreneur in that area by starring as an actor in regional movies and TV clips. Coming to his goals and motivations, in a professional sense, he wants to become famous and well-known as an actor. This could include starring in his first blockbuster movie, so watch out for that one. And his goal is really to get recognized on the street. So give him a shout whenever you see him. He will be really happy. Besides that, he also is an entrepreneur at heart, and he does a lot of research in the area of virtual reality, as he would ideally like to create his own fitness company there. His old company, called Veteran Emperor, was really successful, but he had to give it up once he moved to Germany. His private life is also very important to him, as he wants to stay happy in his marriage to his Swabian wife and keep up the long-distance relationship with his family, who most of them still reside in the US, and cultivate close friendships in general. So, when you look at how David spends an average weekday, it becomes very apparent that these are the priorities in his life. So it's his wife, then his food, breakfast and lunch, his body and mind, as he really dedicates quite some time to his fitness regime. Then he does his freelancing work. He also learns German, so he goes to class 3 times per week, and the other days he researches new trends in VR, so he's an active learner. And he also teaches, so in his fitness classes he motivates others to move. And his day usually starts and ends with his wife, as well as other friends and family that he socializes with in the evening. So every day of the week basically contains all of these activities, and on the weekends he likes to relax, watch movies, or do something active outside. So in terms of user stories, users like David are lacking and would like to build confidence for acting and speaking up in real life. So it's a little bit tough because German is a foreign language to him, and especially in Germany, natives, including myself, are very strict when it comes to proper pronunciation and are frequently misunderstanding foreigners. Not on purpose, but we we are really strict with how words are pronounced. So in response to a not 100% correctly articulated phrase, Germans usually just give you a very confused and quite humiliating stare, followed by us usually speaking in English because we recognize that that's actually the language that this person can speak better. So this can be quite frustrating for learners wanting to practice to speak. This is why these users would need a safe platform for practicing these language skills, especially pronunciation, before performing them in the actual situations when the skills are needed. So David's goals are to sound as natural as possible when facing his students at the gym or his fellow actors and actresses, as well as other colleagues and even friends who are from Germany originally. Moving on to the problem statements, this means that David needs a way of initiating a real-life or virtual reality rehearsal with strangers on the street or in a VR chat room to be able to better memorize his lines for his next movie or his vocabulary for his next encounter with Germans that he knows, like, they're not strangers to him. So he also needs a way... that's one problem statement, and the other one would be about reducing his experienced daily stress and focus his brain on the task at hand, which would be the studying of his acting lines or new vocabulary. So these are two different problems that he basically has. Like he doesn't get in touch with like strangers on the street as naturally as he would like to, and his memory is really going down, and he wants to find a way to be able to focus again. So these problem statements actually go back to the three basic needs of humans as they're laid out in the self-determination theory. The first one would be the need for competence, so being effective in dealing with your environment, in this case, fellow coaches, actors, colleagues, friends, and acquaintances. Autonomy is also a very important one, as well as language and being able to talk to others really strengthens the sense of control that expats certainly want to have abroad in the country that they now live. Relatedness is an essential need of humans as well, and spoken language is a key vehicle in creating relationships with others. So this is where this need for relatedness comes in. So to summarize the main challenges that our user persona is facing, I would bring up these four challenges as the main ones. First, David wants to be able to sound as natural as possible, as I already said, when trying to instruct his classes, partially in German, which is a foreign language to him, as we know, and he wants to come across as competent, yet authentic. Like, you can still hear that he is from the US. He doesn't mind having an accent, but he wants to be, like, competent when interacting with his students or with other colleagues, agents, actors, friends, other German-speaking entrepreneurs, anything like that. It's really, like, important for his confidence and the way he presents himself to others, which is something that he does on a regular basis as part of his job and everything. Secondly, he wants to interact with the people around him, as I said, and he's the kind of person who is not shy to even do this in a public setting, where people are usually not so prepared to interact, because everybody's kind of like living life in their bubble these days. So he really wants to pre-test the effectiveness of him speaking his like lines, like his acting lines, or like just like vocabularies, like words that he wants to use. And he would also be able to memorize them better by associating them with specific situations, environments, and by getting people's immediate reactions and feedback. So this is something that he would like to do, but he can't, because it's just awkward to spark up conversation on the street, especially in Germany. So the third one is about the 100% focus that we also talked about in the second problem statement. He really wants to be time effective, and when he's studying his his acting lines or his vocabulary, he realizes that he's not as focused as he would ideally need to be, and that his memory skills have been going down over the last years in particular. He says he was a beast at memory when he was young, and now it has gotten so bad over the last years, so he needs a solution for that. The fourth challenge for him is that it takes him way too long to translate words he doesn't know, like when he's configuring like a letter in German or an email, or just reading a letter that comes from, I don't know, some administrative stuff that comes in the mail. So he would love to have a vocabulary learning app help him with these kinds of everyday situations and challenges in a fast, fun, and effective way. Now I would like to bring my persona insights in correlation with my other user research conducted. So in addition to leading user interviews with 5 key users plus David, I also wrote an online survey and received input from 88 language learners out there. Basically, I sourced them from my friend network. So I distribute the link via Facebook and WhatsApp, and I'm really happy with the overwhelming amount of insights that have come back there. So these 4 insights are really fueled with the explicit wishes and ideas for innovation of this user community that I built there. So they really represent the patterns and overlaps and what everybody, no matter which culture or learning type they belong to, expressed. So the first area of application that users are currently missing with the current products or apps available is the ability to practice your pronunciation. Practicing pronunciation and getting feedback on that is stated by various users, as you can see on the quotes on the slides. In terms of structuring the learning via the app, users want to have a clear roadmap, as well as the flexibility to jump between lessons. They also voiced that they would enjoy games, short video lectures, and gamified experiences on top of the more rigid learning techniques. One user even suggested this funny feature which would lock your screen if you don't answer a pop-up question correctly. Contextualization with real-life situations is another need that was surfaced by the research. Contextualization means that learners would prefer to have specific usage examples in mind where they can practice their theoretical knowledge instead of teaching random words and phrases. Simulated conversations, like being in a restaurant with all the different steps of ordering, eating, and paying, or directly showing the usage of a word in a sentence, would make the learning process more effective for all learners. Lastly, users want to use the social aspect of learning, as 1/4 of users like learning surrounded by others. So these others can be chatbots or AI assistants for one, or real-life people who are online at the same time and want to team up with you in practicing your words. Chatting with native speakers or a tandem partner are all things that are mentioned by users here. Also, they aren't opposed to competition with friends and other ways of connecting to the real world, especially eventually when even facilitating meetups to meet these fellow learners that you have only interacted with in a virtual sense would be something that that they want. So it's online dating just for a language learning partner, I guess. And this concludes the user research section of my project, which came out quite long, I just realized. I will stop right here.